If you buy just one cafe coffee a day at an average price of $5, with nearly $1,800 a year, brew the same coffee at home and it could cost you as little as 60 cents a cup. So how much could you really save, and how long would a home coffee setup take to pay for itself?
For many of us, coffee isn't just a drink, it's part of your daily ritual. But that ritual is getting more expensive.
Raw coffee bean prices are rising, and that cost doesn't disappear, it gets passed on to consumers, making your daily coffee habit more expensive over time.
So actually we have seen about 10 to 20% increase in our base cost across all our beans. And we have seen a lot of cafes having to increase their prices about 50 cents to $1 for typical hot black coffee.
Of course, you could save just by switching to local coffee. But for this story, we'll look at barista coffee prices and how to cut the cost of the habit without giving it up. Ethan runs a coffee roastery here in Singapore, roasting up to 4,000 kilos of coffee beans each month. He's seen an uptake in people looking to brew their own coffee at home. I asked him to walk us through 3 common home setups for varying budgets. For each, we'll compare the cost of making a black coffee against an assumed average cafe cost of $5.
So basically the budget option mainly includes your own coffee and then also the French press. So basically you can start brewing coffee with just this and then also a kettle, and yeah, that's all you need. So you're looking at a budget below $100 for this type of setup. So first you just need to pour a coarse grinded coffee. So you can get your coffee grinded through like the place where you buy it in the market or like through online platforms. Then after that, typically you can just leave it to rest for about 3 minutes to 5 minutes.
You'll get about 67 cups of coffee per kilogram of pre-ground beans. At $40 a kilo, this means each cup of coffee brewed at home will cost you 60 cents. If a cafe coffee costs $5, that means you're saving $4.40 a cup. So taking into account your equipment cost, you'll break even in just 7 cups. That's a week or less.
Let's do a taste test.
Okay.
It's quite nice actually.
Yeah.
So the obvious benefit of this setup is that it's cheap, but what are some downsides?
So the main downside is that you are limited to this brew option. So I mean, as opposed to like an espresso machine where you can do like lattes or ice blacks or whatnot, you can only just brew the French press method. So the other downside is that everything is through an estimation. So you don't have like the right equipment to like, more precisely brew the coffee itself.
Next, the mid-range setup, a batch brew machine.
So you're looking at maybe $300 plus type of setup, at least to brew a batch brew coffee at home. For setup, right, you can either use like a filter paper or the mesh that it comes with, but usually we recommend the filter paper. Then after setting like the grind size and the grind option, and also like how much cups you want to brew, then with just a single press, right, then you'll be able to grind and brew it.
With freshly ground beans, the per cup cost rises to about 75 cents. You're still saving over $4 a cup. And you'll be able to break even in about 70 cups, about 2 months' time.
Okay, thank you. Coffee number 2. It is lighter, as you say.
Yeah, it is a lot lighter.
So Ethan, how different is a setup like this from having a capsule-based machine, for example?
For the capsule-based, typically what they'll do is like they'll pre-grind the coffee and then seal it off in the capsule. So you don't know how long it has been in the capsule for, as opposed to like a batch brew machine where you can control when you actually put a coffee in.
Finally, the higher-end setup.
So this is an espresso machine which is very, very close to what you can get at a cafe in terms of like your ice blend, your lattes, and I think this machine is probably in the range, or if you're spending this amount of money, it's probably in the range where you can get cafe level quality coffee at home. So typically for this type of setup, you mainly need 2 machines. One is the espresso machine itself and one is the grinder. So a grinder, you also don't need to get like the very professional cafe level machine. You can just get a very simple single dosing grinder. So for this particular machine, what you can do is you can control like the type of brew that you want for your espresso, and then after that you can steam the milk to get your very nice latte art.
Espresso uses more coffee per cup, so the cost rises to about $1 per drink. Even then, you're still saving $4 a cup. But because of the high upfront cost, you only break even after 575 cups. At 1 cup a day, you'll break even in just over 1.5 years. It does sound like a lot, but there are other factors to consider.
So if like, let's say you're living with someone, or like let's say you have a partner or your family members, and then you're utilizing the machines for more than that, then actually the average price you're paying per head is a lot lower. So I think that will justify splurging a little bit more for the coffee setup.
Ultimately, whether you spend $30,000 or $2,000, if you drink coffee regularly enough, a home setup eventually pays for itself. It's more a matter of how much you want to cough up upfront. But do remember, you'll only get the savings if you actually use the home setup to replace spending on cafe coffee.
So I've never really considered brewing at home, but this may have just swayed me. Personally, I'd probably start with the cheapest option first, just to see if the habit sticks.